Good morning, everyone. Today in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 9, we find the story or the incident of the conversion of Paul, Saul as he was in the scriptures at the time. Now, we know the story well, that he was persecuting the early Christians. As I said a couple of days ago, he went from house to house arresting people, and he was holding the cloak when Stephen was stoned to death. So he was a very firm supporter of the Romans. So here he was riding along the road, although it's interesting, the scriptures don't say he was on a horse. The pictures that we see often show him on a horse. Just says that he was thrown to the ground. So he's thrown to the ground and he goes blind. And they lead him then to town, and he goes into a room and basically spends 3 days there, blind and not eating. You know, one can understand. He probably lost his appetite after something like that. Sort of, what is going to happen to me now? You know, that the Lord has actually done this. And so there's a fellow by the name, oh, by the way, this is not the feast of the conversion of Paul. We need to remind ourselves of that. This is just the Acts of the Apostles. So it's the incident that occurred as we read it. But Ananias, a fellow by the name of Ananias, was sent somewhat reluctantly to lay hands on Saul. And you can understand that he may have been quite reluctant to do that, because the reputation of Saul was around, and he didn't know what was going to go. He'll go near Saul and suddenly find himself arrested and stoned and all the rest of it. But he went. Reason would have had him running away, but he obeyed God because he was an instrument. That's an interesting concept. He was being used, if you like, by God to go and lay hands on Saul. And we know that then Saul regained his sight and began his ministry as an early Christian himself, knowing what it was that he'd set up. And you probably would have known all the tricks and the hiding places. But Ananias was that instrument. Interestingly enough, we remember Paul because of all his writings. But Ananias was the guy who was necessary to actually make this happen. We are called sometimes to be instruments. And sometimes we don't understand why we are called to be instruments, or how we are being called, or what we've been called for. But if the Lord is asking us to do something, let's do it, because it's only afterwards perhaps we will see the results. Let's be instruments of his peace, as St. Francis says. You have a wonderful day. Keep well. God bless.